This is the third in a series of webcasts where I'm going to be discussing where the COVID-19 has the court system going in the future. Where do we think we're going to go? Where is litigation going to happen? How are our disputes going to be resolved in the court systems? We've already talked about where the courts were when the COVID-19 virus hit this country. We've talked about where we are now. In this webcast, we're going to be talking about where are we going in the future. The future of litigation in this state and throughout the country, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID-19, but we do know that the court system has changed as we know it. Much of what the court system allowed was for people to go and be heard in person, for courts to be able to weigh the credibility of a witness, to see when someone's lying or telling the truth. It's much easier to do that when you have someone who's right in front of you. It's much more difficult to do it if a witness is testifying by Zoom or through a telephone. It's very difficult for the court or for a jury to determine that individual's credibility. And that was really the keystone of our judicial system. The right to confront a witness against you is really grounded in the Constitution, and that is really where our court systems relied on. That has changed. Now what we see are courts that do not allow all hearings to be heard in person. If it's something that's not an urgent matter, if it's something that involves a lot of parties, the courts are not going to allow you to come to the court and hear that matter. So that is going to change the way that litigators, such as myself, are going to present their cases. It's going to completely alter the landscape of how you try to convince a judge or how you try to convince a jury that the jury should find for you and against the other side. So some of the things that we're using more technology in order to be able to tell our story and to present our case in a clear and concise manner and in a way that is convincing to the trier of fact, whether it's the judge or whether it's the jury. This use of technology, we try to get away from the idea of the personal interaction with the individual, because now we're doing things on television. So what we're doing is we're focusing on more television production type presentations where we're presenting the evidence in a way that doesn't involve an individual being there. Because that is the way that we are now trying to tell our story in the court system. It has been a significant change. In our next episode or our next webcast, we're going to be talking about presentation tactics for the jury trials of the future. Thanks for listening.